We're chasing a plate, and tonight we're in Osaka. And it's Saturday night, so it's time for a night at the pub, or an izakaya. Let's go! Izakaya, or Japanese pubs, can be really small, intimate affairs, or they can be big and rowdy. Our neighbourhood one? Medium sized, but it's a lot of fun. Just like any pub in the West, izakaya offer a range of drinks. The Japanese love their whisky highballs, so it's a shot of whisky and a mixer, and I've got a ginger ale and whiskey highball. It is so good.
I've gone with beer, and it is one heck of a big beer. This is a 700ml tori, which is like one of the real simple everyday beers here in Japan, but it's so easy to drink. It's huge, and it is a ridiculously good price, particularly at this izakaya. This is one of the cheaper places we've seen in our whole 3 weeks in Japan. Speaking of the 3 weeks in Japan, we've done heaps of videos, we've got more to come, so don't forget to pop down below, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell so you get notifications when we post videos.
So izakaya specialise in different things. It might be yakitori, which are grilled chicken skewers, or it could be fish. These guys specialise in tempura, which is lightly battered and deep fried stuff. So we've ordered, to start us off, some eggplant and some pumpkin. What you do with tempura is that you dip it into a dipping sauce which they pour for you at the table. And the dipping sauce is usually made up of soy, mirin, which is a sweet rice wine, and also, what else is in there? Dashi stock. And you add some grated daikon into the dipping sauce. I'm going to try the pumpkin first. The sauce is just really, really light. And when I say deep fried, the batter is so thin. And the vegetables are just perfectly cooked. There's no stodginess or oiliness about this. It's just a beautiful pumpkin. You can just really taste the flavour of the vegetable.
I'm going to grab some of this eggplant, get it straight in the sauce. I love how thin the batter is. Oh, the eggplant is so soft, but still has enough texture that you can like bite into it. That batter is the finest, most dry batter you could imagine. I mean, it's just heavenly. That beautiful sweet flavour, then that thin batter. That sauce is incredible. Love it. Beer's going down well. Izakayas are great places to check out.
I love fried chicken, and there is nothing that makes me happier when I'm drinking than to be eating fried chicken. So we have ordered tori karaage. Usually in Japan, karaage is chicken thigh, and it's just beautifully deep fried. It's boneless, and this comes with a huge blob of mayo, which I've just swiped the chicken through. I cannot wait to try this. This is my heaven right here. The batter is really thin, and the chicken is just so juicy and just so full of flavour. If you're in Japan, you have to eat karaage.
And when you order a beer in this izakaya, they have a robot basically to pour your beer. So you end up with the most perfectly poured beer in the world. It tilts it slowly, then it squirts a little bit of head on top, and it is such a perfect beer. And it's the most Japanese thing in the world, that there is a robot pouring beer. I love it.
So we've ordered our second round of drinks. I've ordered cold sake. I'm not actually sure what type of sake it is because on the menu it literally just says hot sake or cold sake, but it does go down very easily. It's getting really busy in this izakaya. It's basically all full. The way it works is that you share all your dishes and you eat progressively, so you don't order everything at once. You just order sort of just plates as you go. And by rights, you're supposed to start with the sort of smaller dishes like edamame or cold tofu and move on to the heavier dishes like yakitori, so the grilled chicken skewers or fried chicken. We just love fried chicken so much that we ordered it first.
Now we've ordered an entire fish. Now something about izakayas that is a little bit difficult, and we've struggled too with this during our time in Japan. So the menus are entirely in Japanese, pretty much exclusively. They all serve different stuff. They're a little bit scary almost. Like when you're standing outside, they don't even say anything on the outside as to what they are sometimes. It's just a little door with a curtain. So it can be a little bit intimidating to come inside. So with this fish, we've ordered it because we saw other people in this restaurant were having it, and we basically had to point. So we can't communicate with any of the staff here. We've just got to go with it. But it's so, like traveling. It's one of the joys of traveling is experiencing things, opening doors to other worlds, and sometimes you have to go out of your way to open those doors. So this fish is a really good example of that because we can't read any of that menu. We can't talk to any of these staff. So we just had to like keep an eye on what other people are ordering. And now we've got this fish. So it looks a bit like a trout almost. So I'm just going to grab some. It's trouty looking. It's got a little bit of pink. It looks pretty oily. I'm just going to try it. It's really salty. Salty and fishy, but in a really nice way. We did, to be honest, we used Google Translate on the menu, which is pretty much useless when it comes to food. But it did say something about, there is a fish on here, and it says something about aged or dried, something like that. And I think this is definitely dried by the look of it and the taste of it. It's flaky like a trout, very salty like I said, but very tender. What a beautiful fish, and such a cool example of just going for it, just trying to communicate. The waitress here is the most lovely girl, and we just smile at each other and things are working out.
We've ordered another round of tempura, some onion, ebi, which is prawn, and a tiny little fish which was called kisu. I don't know whether that's the variety of fish, but it's very cute. I'm going to try what I'm most excited about, which is the prawn. So I'm going to grab prawn, dip it in my tempura dipping sauce, which I've added more daikon to. This looks amazing. The prawn is so delicate, and it's literally just been popped in the deep fryer for a second. It is cooked to perfection. It's still crisp, it's juicy, and that batter is so light. Said, sometimes wandering into izakayas can be a little intimidating, but the reward is definitely worth the effort. Some of our best nights in Japan have been spent in izakaya.
And this was one of them. So much fun. So unlike a pub we're used to. Like, look how bright it is. It's absolutely glowing in here, but it's Saturday night. Everyone's having fun. Drinks are cheap.
such a cool experience. So step into one, go for it, just point, decipher, use Google Translate. It'll work out, so don't stress. Have at least one night at an izakaya in Japan when you visit.
It's a quintessential Japanese experience.
It's brilliant.
We hope we've inspired you to eat and explore like a traveller, not a tourist. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Sayonara!
Sayonara!